Africa has been long excluded from entering the G20, spending decades begging for entrance into their little club. However, the recent inclusion of African countries in this forum has raised questions about the motives behind it. Africans are saying that this is a Western ploy to displace the BRICS as the new emerging market powerhouse, and I think that just might be the case. Welcome back to Awakening Africa. Today we will take a look into Africa's acceptance into the G20 group of nations. Please remember to smash the subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Africa, often referred to as the Dark Continent, has long been overshadowed by the dominant powers in global politics. However, in recent years, there has been a remarkable shift in the geopolitical landscape, with Africa emerging as a significant player on the global stage. The continent's growing influence has sparked debates and speculation about its role in shaping the balance of power. Historically, Africa has been plagued by colonization, political instability, and economic challenges. Its vast resources and rich cultural heritage have often been exploited by external powers. But in the last few decades, Africa has made significant strides in terms of political stability, economic growth, and regional integration. One of the key indicators of Africa's rising influence is the inclusion of several African nations into the BRICS, a group of developing economies, led by Russia and China. The G20, initially formed to address global financial issues, has evolved into a platform for major political discussions and decision-making that often treats Africa as a window shopper that can't get into the store. The inclusion of Africa signifies the recognition of the continent's potential, but only after China took notice. Moreover, Africa's geopolitical significance is further underscored by its increasing partnerships with Eastern powers. While traditional powers like the United States and European Union have long-standing ties with African nations, emerging powers such as China, India, and Brazil have also intensified their engagement on the continent. This has led to debates about whether Africa's growing influence is a result of its own agency or a strategy employed by Western powers to counter the rising influence of the BRICS countries. Established in 1999, the G20 was formed in response to the Asian financial crisis, with the aim of promoting policy coordination and dialogue among its members to address global economic challenges. Over the years, its role has expanded to include discussions on a wide range of topics, such as trade, investment, financial stability, and sustainable development. Being a member of the G20 carried significant prestige and influence on the global stage. For Africa, joining the G20 represents a milestone in its quest for greater representation and influence in international affairs. However, the question arises whether Africa's entry into the G20 is a genuine recognition of its economic potential or merely a Western ploy to displace the emerging economies of BRICS and is part of a broader geopolitical strategy to dilute the influence of BRICS and maintain Western dominance in global economic governance. The G20 may only want to tap into the continent's vast resources, burgeoning consumer markets, and untapped potential, contributing to the sustained enrichment of their lives at the continued expense of the African people, and that's why Africans question the intentions behind Africa's G20 entry. It's seen as a strategic move by the West powers to keep the population in poverty. By co-opting Africa into the G20, they could potentially dilute the influence of the BRICS nations, which have been challenging Western hegemony in global economic affairs. This inclusion could be seen as a calculated maneuver to ensure that Africa remains aligned with Western interests rather than forging stronger ties with emerging powers. Additionally, it can be seen as a strategic maneuver to counterbalance the rising influence of China in the continent. As China continues to increase its investments and presence in Africa, Western powers may see Africa's inclusion in the G20 as a way to assert their influence and maintain control over key economic relationships. But tell us in the comments, what do you think is happening here with Africa's sudden acceptance into the G20? Is it a ploy, or did the West all of a sudden had a change of heart and want Africa at the table? Please remember to like and subscribe for more news of the Awakening Africa.